Meta Mysteries. I thought of that title. I don't know if there's a specific name. So it's a meta mystery. Well, it's a bit obvious and when you look at it. It's a mystery, but it goes beyond. I mean, the average mystery has the murder or crime, and then the suspects, and then you find the clues, and you find the murderer, you're done. But with the meta mystery, we have that extra element. So let's start. Now, the first one that kind of made me conscious of it would be Donna Tartt's The Little Friend, her second novel. It's not her best. I'm going to tell you right away, despite what anyone says. Saying that, I should reread it maybe. I last read it in 2003. But anyway, it's about, what did it even say? Yeah, a group of kids tried to find out about a murder. And, well, the first half is really good. And then the second half, it tries its hardest to be different and leaves a loose end. And even though I hate closure, I don't think it works out well. But I'll leave that up to you. One thing for certain, though, definitely it's Donna Tartt talking about her youth in the South, and she captures that beautifully. Okay. Now, the rest. Martin Amis, London Fields. This is about, well, you actually know the murderer. You know the one who got murdered, the one who got killed, because that's right in the beginning. And you do know the murderer as well. It's just how all the events come together. It's quite innovative and written in quite a particular style. So if you hate it at first, give it another shot and it'll work. Trust me. Next, one of my favorite books of all time, Sorry to Disrupt the Peace by Yumi Cotterell. It's about a girl finds out that her half-brother has committed suicide, so she decided, I don't know why I'm slurring a bit, but she decides to inquire and find out why he did that. And then we get into a whole backstory about cultural differences and being a foreigner in America. It's really good, very clever, it's funny, it's gross, quirky narrator. It's everything I like in a book. It's like highly recommended. Next up, we've got Sloot. I read this last year. I loved it. It's from the amazing Blue Moose books. They can do no wrong. Anyway, so we've got a question of inheritance. And the author not the author actually, the main protagonist is a comedian, while his moves are being dictated by the author of this book. It sounds complex, but actually it's not. It's very funny, it's very screwball, it's very wacky, and it's done well. Okay, this one takes the Agatha Christie murder mystery formula and turns it upside down. This is The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. So someone who dies, but the detective has to keep on reliving the mystery scene so that he finds out who the killer is. And and he jumps into different people at the same time. So at first it does seem a bit complex, but then things start to become clear and then you understand what's happening. I really like this, and I've got a second book. I spoke about it yesterday. Night Film. It's about a mystery as well. Well, they're all mysteries. I shouldn't say this. But it's about, I think so. I've read this a long time ago, so pardon me if my memory is a bit fuzzy on it. It's about a murder mystery, and this woman has to put all the clues together to find out who it is, and she's got some very vague clues. It's also a little bit of horror as well. There's a film involved. There's an interactive element. I read this really quickly, so maybe that's my fault. But there's an interactive element where you can scan your mobile on certain Q codes and you get more text and things like that. I never tried it though. I did enjoy it though. I hated her first novel. This was good though. I love this one. It's about a boy who has to discover Who Murdered His Dog? The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Excellent. The thing is, the detective, who's a Sherlock Holmes fan, is autistic. So we see the world through his eyes. And then we go beyond the mystery halfway through, because that's solved. And then we start finding out that it's a tale of loss and about mother, son, father relationships gone wrong. It's really readable. This other book, the Porpoise, I didn't like it all though. I thought it was too went up its arse, in my opinion. Okay, this is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. I've spoken about this quite a few times. It's about a murder and told through different points of view. And the detective has to piece everything together according to the viewpoint. Not all the narratives are reliable, and everything is based on the zodiac. Again, one of those books that are complex, but once you get into it, it's really addictive. Yeah, definitely a deserved Man Booker winner. Now, Thomas Pynchon. So Inherent Vice. It's about a detective who has to who has to solve a mystery, like they all do. I don't know why I'm saying the obvious. About someone who's missing. But it turns into a typical Pynchonian wild goose chase. Now, if you've never read Pynchon, or you feel intimidated by his work, this is actually a good place to start. It's his most accessible. That does not mean it's easy reading, but you won't get chunks of nuclear physics or Wittgensteinian philosophy and things like that. It's more or less a mystery, a weird one, and it's about the end of an era. So I'll say. And it's funny in that Pynchonian way. Okay, it's about House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. What can I say? This is an everything book. So you've got it's very playful. Yeah, pictures and everything. It's a haunted house mystery, kind of like the Blair Witch Project, but done in an artsy-fartsy way. Not to everyone's taste, but I liked it a lot. And it did scare me as well. It's part horror, part mystery. It's everything. Recommended if you're into experimental literature. And speaking of experimental literature, we've got J.J. Abrams, yes, which is also a book within a book within a book. So, yeah, you've got all these pictures. Oops, that fell out. There's also a map, newspaper clippings, postcards. It's got everything. So what's it about? Well, 2 college students find this book and they write on the margin, and they discovered, this author, Straka, that he lived a very mysterious life, and they try and cover it. And the story within itself is a ghost story. So you've got actually 3 stories happening at the same time, mostly through marginalia. It's fun, like all mixed like all mixed media books. It's a bit more style than substance, but it is a fun read. So the sun's going down. I'll stop here. Did you read any of these books? Can you mention some more? There's one I forgot to mention. I couldn't find it. Was Filth by Irvine Welsh. So if you have some more to mention, go ahead. Okay? Thank you, and see you next time.